Have you ever wondered if a private investigator can use a drone for surveillance? If you said yes, then this video is for you. Welcome to the PI Guy, tips, tricks, and advice for professional private investigators just like you. My name is John Morris. I am a licensed professional private investigator in Colorado. Technology as we know it seems to change on an almost daily basis. I am constantly hearing of new pieces of technology coming out and how it will make my life better, change my work productivity, and basically make me a better me. Well, color me skeptical, but I do not always buy into that. So I always give technology some time to settle into the marketplace before I invest in equipment, software, and other technologies. Drones would seem to be a game changer for private investigators, especially when it comes to surveillance. But how much of a game changer are they really? Let's explore some of the potential uses of drones for a surveillance investigator. First, let's cover the big white elephant in the room. Is it even legal for a private investigator to use a drone for any investigation? To answer this question, let's take a look at Part 107 guidelines from the FAA. Now, really quick, let me state, I am not an attorney, nor do I play one on YouTube, nor am I an expert on drones, drone usage, drone laws, or anything else. This video merely depicts my opinion on the topic and is not intended to be considered as legal or professional advice. Okay, first, let us take a look at the drone itself. The FAA requires that all drones be registered with the FAA unless they weigh 0.55 pounds, 250 grams or less, and are flown under the exemption for recreational flyers rules. Now, you can still register your small drone, that is 0.55 pounds or under, but you do not have to if you are a recreational flyer. So if you are a private investigator and you are getting paid to conduct an investigation and you use a drone to conduct that investigation in any way, shape, or form, well, you are no longer considered as a recreational flyer, regardless of the size of your drone. Registration costs for drones, by the way, is minimal. I believe it costs about $5 to register a drone. Registration is also valid for 3 years, and registration is not transferable. There are rules, too, that apply to all recreational flyers, regardless of whether the drone has to be registered or not. The first rule is that they only fly for recreational purposes. Enjoyment. They also must follow certain safety guidelines. They must keep the drone within visual line of sight or use an observer. Give way to manned aircraft. Fly below 400 feet. Do not fly in restricted airspace. Do not operate in a dangerous manner. They cannot fly over vehicle traffic or people. They must not interfere with emergency response or law enforcement. Cannot fly under the influence of drugs or alcohol, and there are many, many other rules to be sure. So now we have a little information of what a private investigator must have in order to use a drone in his or her business. Registering their drones is a must regardless of size. But what about licensing? Yes, there is a license or certification requirement for drone pilots when using a drone for any commercial purpose. So if you make 1 penny operating your drone, you are using it for a commercial purpose. If you are using a drone to promote your own business, well, guess what? You are using it for commercial purposes. To become an FAA certified drone pilot, you must pass a knowledge test and obtain an FAA tracking number. Testing for a drone pilot's license is arduous and covers several areas. You have to know applicable regulations relating to small unmanned aircraft systems, their limitations, and general flight operations. You also need to know airspace classifications and operating requirements, flight restrictions, aviation weather sources, emergency procedures, radio communication procedures, aeronautical decision-making, airport operations, night operation rules, and more. Basically, you need to know almost as much as a regular pilot needs to know to get certified to fly, and rightfully so, as you could be flying your drone in the same airspace as any other aircraft. But just because you have an FAA certification to fly your now FAA registered drone, can you use it for surveillance? Well, the answer to that is a bit tricky, but here are some of my thoughts on the matter. First, we should discuss the logistics of using a drone for surveillance. Most drones will have a battery life of 15 to 30 minutes tops. That is from engine startup to engine shutdown, not necessarily flight time. On the average, that is going to be about 20 minutes total battery life. So even if you could use it to conduct surveillance, you would have to have a safe place to take off from, then fly to where you can observe your surveillance target safely, and you could maybe stay there for 10 to 15 minutes before you had to bring the drone back and change the battery. So to do 1 hour of actual surveillance at best, you would need to have 4 or 5 batteries, and you would have periods of time, 5 to 10 minutes, where you had no eyes on the target when you were taking off and going en route or returning and landing to change the battery. Oh yeah, on most drones you also should not just take off a battery after flight and charge it. You need to let it cool down before charging, and charging itself can take 1 to 3 hours, thus the need for many extra batteries. So from a practical standpoint, using a drone for stationary surveillance would not be a good option, just from the powering of the drone standpoint and the fact that you are not eyes on the target all of the time. Other things that complicate the use of drones for stationary surveillance are the safety regulations in place for all drone pilots. You first have to be able to see the drone at all times. That is, eyes on the drone. Think of any residential area. You will not fly very far before you no longer have eyes on the drone. Then there are the restrictions of where you can fly, or should I say, where you cannot fly. You cannot fly over vehicle traffic. So just about any roadway is pretty much off limits. You cannot fly over people. So, well, how much restriction does that place on you? Now, given all of the restrictions, here is a more complicated thought. What happens in court when the other side walks through every restriction of your pilot certification, and there are hundreds of them, and asks you to tell the court how you ensured you met each guideline? If they catch you in just one area of non-compliance, there is a good chance your video gets disallowed as well. You could face charges from the FAA regarding improper usage, and you could lose your pilot's license. Now, I see a lot of comments from people about just using a drone to see inside someone's house or apartment, through a window, or over a fence, in a backyard, in other places. There are huge concerns for using a drone in this manner, to be sure. The first and most logical reason a PI should never do this is reasonable expectation of privacy. Every one of us has reasonable expectations of privacy in certain areas. Inside our homes is one of them. In our yards, especially if we have a privacy fence, is another. Sure, most states allow video or photography to be obtained of any activity in public view, but just because you can go over or up into airspace does not make that now public view. Just like you cannot climb a tree to look over someone's fence to get video of them, you cannot use a drone to do the same thing. And I know, some of you are going to say, well, I was surveilled with a drone. I am not saying it doesn't happen. What I am saying is, in most likelihood, it would not be admissible in court for most civil cases where a PI was involved. So if not in surveillance, where else could a PI use a drone? Well, I can think of several areas it might be considered. You might be able to use a drone for a traffic accident to get good overhead views of specific areas. This could also be the same for certain other investigations that cover larger areas, so you can get a good bird's eye view. Drones can be used to measure distances too, which could come in handy in the right application during an investigation. Pre-surveillance or recon is one area during surveillance a drone may be able to help a surveillance investigator. Again, it has to be done with all regulations and safety concerns in mind. So you might be able to fly a drone alongside a country road, let's say, to see what vehicles are present at a rural location. But then there are all the limitations you must keep in mind. Battery life is a huge issue to keep in mind. Sure, a drone can go fast, but even taking off and going, let's say, a mile and coming back, you would be pushing a drone's battery life to the limit in most cases. Then there is the huge issue of detectability. Drones are very easy to see and especially to hear. Even at 400 feet up, a drone is easy to hear in most cases. Drones are great for a lot of things, folks, but being quiet is not something they specialize in. Obviously, the rights to privacy come into play a lot. There are more and more state regulations too that come into play. Not only must you know and abide by all of the federal laws, you must also know and abide all of your state laws, and now there are even cities that are putting laws into place furthering the restrictions of drone usage. Hey, here are 2 more videos that I made just for you. And remember, folks, remember, stay safe out there.